Hey, this episode might be short. It might be brief. It may not be our usual 20 something minute long conversation. And that's because I might have just a few things that I'd like to say about today's topic. Now, I'm not saying that I'm intentionally going to make this conversation between me and you short. Heck, it might be lengthy, but as we converse, we'll see. Today, I want to talk about religion, something that I think for most people is really a core part of their identity. I'm Christian, Catholic to be precise, and I'm going to be talking from that point of view. Most of the points that I'll be making, most of the advices that I'll be giving, and suggestions and examples would be from a typical Christian point of view, right? Now, before we start, let me give you a quick history lesson, not on religion itself, but on how my family has basically had Christianity in our DNA for, would I say generations? I wouldn't call it generations, but I would say dating back as far as, great grandfathers from both sides of the family. I'm talking from the paternal side and also from the maternal side, passing down and transcending to grandfathers, to fathers, to, all the uncles and aunties that I've known and the cousins that I've met. We've all, or they are all, 90% of all, rather, 90% of us, we are Christians and we are Catholics, right? And then even my parents, both of my parents are Christians and they are Catholics. And so being born into this family, you are obviously going to be Christian and Catholic, right? It's automatic. Now, as a child, I never really deeply questioned anything, religion included, as is expected of a child. As a child, you're taught by people around you during your developmental years about how religion works and how religion came to be and how the world works, and you take it as it is most times. You might have a few questions, but the questions you would have are not particularly deep questions, right? Now, I wish that with all the things that I've said here, with the brief history I just gave you about my family's, you know, the history with religion and Christianity, I wish I could just come up here, grab the mic, and tell you guys that, you know, my family has really had this Christianity stuff rooted inside of us to the point that I've never really struggled with an unwavering faith, an wavering faith. I've never really struggled with doubts with my religion. I've really just had it all along in me. It's rooted and I'm winging it. I wish I could come here and say that I've had no doubts in my religion and I've never struggled with faith, and that I've had an unwavering faith since I was born. Now there might be people like that, who since they were born, they've always never had doubts since the time they were born, since conception. And I respect that. Okay, I might look at you funny. I might have a hard time believing you. I might raise one of my eyebrows higher than the other one, but I'd respect that. There might be people, that are like that, and that's great for them. But as for me, I've had doubts. I've had doubts about certain ideologies of my religion. I've had doubts about certain way things are done in my religion. Dare I even say that I've had doubts about the existence of my religion? Oh no, Martins, you did not just say that you've had doubts about. Yes, okay, I've had doubts about the existence of my religion at some point. And I'm sure that to most people, they have probably felt these kind of things before, right? At some point in their lives, I'm sure most people must have had doubts about their religion. They must have had moments of wavering faith or feeling conflicted with their religion. And there are a couple of ways that, or a couple of reasons rather, that these doubts and these conflicting feelings would happen to people. There are a couple of reasons as to why somebody would actually feel this way. These doubts and moments of wavering faith would come up for them maybe when they are going through trying moments and circumstances that are not what they would like to be facing, or when they are feeling conflicted, maybe because they're going through some stuffs and they are handling those stuffs in ways that are going against the teachings of their religion, or maybe they are struggling with stuffs that their religion isn't particularly supportive about, or supportive of, and it makes them feel like they should step aside from the law and the rules of religion and try to figure things out for themselves and by themselves, right? So all of these instances I just gave now are basically reasons why different people, they are basically different reasons why different people would feel uncertain, would feel disconnected, or have a wavering faith in their religion. I am definitely not excluded from this. I felt that way multiple times because of various reasons. I know that I felt that way when I am feeling, or I'm hoping rather, and I'm having faith that this event should go this way as I've planned it to. And I've been having faith since the beginning of such event. And then the circumstances seem to not be great. And I'm still having that faith that it will turn out great. And it just keeps on becoming bad. And it's like I'm feeling conflicted that why does it seem that as much as I'm trying to have faith and believe that this circumstance will turn around and it will all be great, the circumstance just seems to not be going towards the direction of improving, but rather in the opposite direction. And then I start to feel that, hoping that such situation might change might feel pointless, right? So I've definitely felt that, although in that category, I would say that I've come to realize that most times, regardless of the fact that you've had enough faith that this would work and you've put in the work and you're expecting a particular kind of result, I've come to realize that most times when you are having faith for something to work out and it's not working and it's not just going as you planned, sometimes it's actually a sign of, a redirection. It's probably a redirection, or would I say from God or from nature, right? It's probably a redirection, and that's something that I've come to realize. Now, I would say that my conflictions with religion, it's not the kind of conflictions that I would say have made me consider leaving the religion. And that's a personal resolve. It's something that I've come to think about, and I've resolved personally not to leave my religion. I mean, I've had tough time accepting the ideologies of the religion at some point, yes. I've had plenty moments of wavering faith, yes. But I don't think that I would ever leave the religion. And here's why. I think in the future, yeah, I'd still be a Christian. It's something that I've thought about and I've decided upon. I've done my best to understand a lot of aspects of the religion, to come to the realization that I think this religion, it actually might be for me. It has brought me comfort. It has brought me peace during the times that I needed it the most. Okay. And I feel like most people would actually say these things to sound, I don't know, maybe to coax people into joining their religion or seeing their religion as the only true source of light. But I'm genuinely speaking from a point of view that I think it's personal to me and it's what I've gone through, realizing that at some point the teachings and the hope that the religion brought, it got me through and comforted me through tough times. And because of that reason and some other reasons, I decided that, you know what, I'm going to stay in this religion. I mean, the core messages that the religion actually teaches is on a good moral compass. So the personal resolve for me is that I'm definitely not going to leave my religion. Now, to anybody struggling with faith and doubts in their religion, it's all right. You're not blaspheming in any way for feeling that way. Your feelings are valid. A lot of people feel this way, including people who, they seem as though they've got their shit together. If you're Christian, yeah, remember I mentioned that I'll be talking and giving examples and advices from a Christian point of view. If you're Christian, I want you to do this. Remember that a lot of figures in the Bible didn't have an unwavering faith throughout their lifetime. A lot of them had their moments of reflection. They had moments of wondering whether, should they even continue with what they're doing. They had moments of reflections, basically. And you are not a bad person for feeling that way. That's one thing I want you to know. And for anybody who's feeling conflicted about whether to leave or whether to stay in their religion and they're having conflicting thoughts about that, for me, I would say that I looked at my religion that's Christianity. And I realized that this religion actually did bring me peace, like I mentioned. The teachings were actually on a generally good moral compass, and I wanted to be part of this religion long term, you know. And I think you should consider this. Do you think you would actually feel at peace with this religion? What does this religion teach you? The teachings of the religion, does it resonate with you? I know as kids, you really have no control as to which religion you are born into, but you will eventually grow into an adult who would have to make their own decisions about almost every aspect of their lives, right? And wouldn't it be nice to actually get some sort of clarity in the religion aspect early? It would be nice to reflect, decide upon what religion you feel works for you, and make those clear decisions that work for yourself now. Wouldn't it be nice actually? I feel like most people, they might feel obligated to be in a religion due to the fact that maybe their parents or whoever it is that is their guardian maybe forced down their own beliefs onto them without giving room for questions. And I think somehow it's seen as blasphemy or blasphemous to have doubts in your religion. I know that most people would feel as though it's not as though they find their religion entirely suffocating, but then there's this constraint of they have parents, they have guardians who very strongly and dare I say ignorantly believe in these religions in ways that it seems to them, to those parents, it seems illogical to have questions about such religions, whereby to you, you feel like I have questions about this and I'm going through some stuff and I'm feeling conflicted about my religion. I just want to let you know that it's fine, right? Eventually, you're going to become an adult who would have to make these decisions by themselves and for themselves. So, like I mentioned earlier, wouldn't it be nice to have clarity in that aspect? I want you to know that it's all right, right? I'm here to remind you that it's normal. A lot of us go through these things and we're still going through it, right? It will take time, it will take patience, and it will mean you setting out time to ask yourself some serious questions and be honest about what you want for yourself, okay? I know you've got this, okay? And I think that clears it for our conclusion from this entire episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for chilling with me on this very brief episode. I just feel like I had to say something about this, and I do hope you gained something from this episode. Don't forget to check out the Almost 20 podcast on Instagram at Almost 20 podcast. Don't forget to check out me, your host, Guy Martins, on Instagram at _ Guy Martins. If you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, on Apple Music, or anywhere you stream podcasts, don't forget to comment about what you thought about the episode. Don't forget to rate the podcast on Spotify and Apple Music too. Don't forget to share the podcast, and I'll see you next Sunday.